The airport was doing what airports always do, flattening people into temporary versions of themselves. We were all quieter, more compliant, moving in lines that pretended to be optional. I remember noticing the carpet first. That patterned blue meant to hide stains. I'd walked over it 100 times in my life without thinking. But that morning I was oddly aware of my feet, of the sound they made. I was the last one in our group, as usual, juggling the passports and the folder with printed itineraries no one else wanted to carry. My sister was ahead of me, already tapping at her phone. She'd been in a good mood all morning. Too good, loud in a way that didn't invite response. At the gate we fanned out. My parents stepped forward together. My sister peeled off to the side, camera up, narrating something for her feed. I handed over the stack of passports without thinking. It felt efficient. Familiar. The agent flipped through them, paused, typed, frowned slightly, not concern, more concentration. Then she slid one passport back across the counter toward me. "I'm sorry," she said, still looking at her screen. "You're not on this flight." The sentence didn't land all at once, it arrived in parts. "Not on this flight." As if flights were suggestions. As if I could simply choose another one. "There must be a mistake," I said. Because that's what people say when systems contradict their expectations. She tilted the screen. Just enough for me to see a wall of text I couldn't read. "Your ticket was voided yesterday." Yesterday. A word that carried weight. Yesterday meant intention. Behind me, the line compressed. I could feel it in my shoulders. The agent asked me to step aside so she could continue boarding. Her voice was kind. Firm. Practiced. I turned, my family was already moving forward, passports in hand. That small relieved energy people get when a process goes smoothly. My mother didn't look back. My father was bent slightly, focused on his shoes. My sister did look back, briefly, and smiled, not at me, at her phone. She lifted it, angled it just right, and took a selfie. I saw myself in the corner of her frame, half cut off. Frozen with my bag still on my shoulder. Then she turned and walked down the jet bridge. No one even hesitated. I stood there longer than I should have. Long enough for the agent to glance at me again. To check if I was gonna argue or cry or make myself a problem. I didn't do any of those things. I stepped to the side because that's what you do when you're in the way. While the last passengers boarded, a supervisor came over. He was taller, slower, his badge heavier. He explained the situation in neutral language. The ticket had been purchased as part of a group reservation. The payment method had been changed. The system automatically removed one passenger when authorization failed. One passenger. He repeated, not unkindly. "Why me?" I asked. He paused. Not long enough to be dramatic. Just long enough to answer honestly without saying anything actionable. That would have been selected at the time of change. Selected. That was the moment something settled. Not anger. Clarity. I didn't argue. There was nothing to win here. The authority had already spoken, and it was unmistakable. The flight left without me. I watched the door close like I was observing weather. That night, I stayed at an airport hotel that smelled faintly of bleach and carpet glue. The TV was on mute. I ate crackers from a vending machine and sat on the edge of the bed, my bag still packed. I thought about all the small ways I'd made myself useful over the years. The accounts I'd helped manage. The subscriptions in my name because my credit was better. The family plan. The emergency transfers that were never repaid but always acknowledged with, "You're so good with this stuff." I didn't feel vengeful. I felt tired. And precise. I logged in. I reviewed access. I changed what needed changing. I didn't drain anything, I didn't punish. I separated, then I sent the text, one line. No punctuation flourish. No explanation. "Check your accounts when you land." I put the phone face down. 6 hours later, it buzzed itself awake, missed calls. Messages stacking in the family group chat. Confusion first. Then urgency. Then accusation disguised as concern. "Something's wrong with the cards. Are you seeing this? Did the bank freeze us? We're at the hotel and nothing is working." My sister's messages came through privately. Short. Sharp. "No emojis now. What did you do?" I didn't answer right away. Not because I was savoring anything, but because I needed to notice how I felt. Strangely steady. Eventually I replied, not to her, but to the group. I removed my accounts and permissions. Anything in my name is no longer shared. That was it. The response was immediate and messy. Explanations arrived too late to be useful. Jokes that didn't land. A sudden awareness of dependency that had never been acknowledged out loud. No one apologized for the airport. Not then. I didn't ask for one. When the messages slowed, I turned the phone off and lay back, staring at the ceiling. I thought about how power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it just stops propping things up. The next morning, I flew home alone. There was no victory lap, no satisfaction montage. Just a quiet understanding that something fundamental had shifted. And that it wouldn't be undone with a conversation. They still went on their trip. They figured things out. People always do, and I went on with my life, carrying a different weight now, not lighter, exactly, but finally mine to hold.